Where's everybody gonna go? There's no motels. Lytton's gone. Where are they gonna put the people?
Devastating loss, and now the search for answers. Good evening, I'm Ian Hanamansi. Tonight, families desperately hunt for loved ones and wonder what's left after a raging wildfire tore through Lytton, BC.
It's just not even one day at a time. It's 1 hour at a time.
And within minutes, the city was engulfed.
Our first glimpse after the fire. The harrowing stories of those who had just minutes to get out, and the communities now housing hundreds of evacuees.
It's emotional, it's devastating, and we're here for them.
Plus, the record-breaking conditions that fuel the flames now putting more BC communities under threat.
And I'm Andrew Chang. Also tonight, what Canada Day means in this moment.
I'm not going to celebrate it. I will celebrate the fact that we survived.
In cities across the country, people take to the streets demanding change as Canada reckons with the legacy of residential schools. And open up.
Thank you, Albertans. We are the first province in Canada that is fully open.
This is The National.
And these are pictures taken today over Lytton, BC, after days of record-setting temperatures, the highest ever recorded in Canada. Fires have destroyed much of the village. And tonight, families forced to flee their homes are now working to find loved ones scattered in the evacuations. The cause of the fire under investigation, but what is certain, on a day usually set aside to celebrate the country, part of it is burning.
In the last 24 hours, 62 new fires have started in British Columbia.
Some of those fires so intense, spreading so rapidly, plumes were towering more than 10,000 meters into the sky. About 1,000 people fled the area around Lytton, and tonight, the fire that destroyed so many homes is still growing. Lytton's about a 250-kilometer drive northeast of Vancouver in the Fraser Canyon. Evacuation centers have been set up in Merritt, Kamloops, Kelowna, Chilliwack, with more expected. And with fire danger so widespread, Lytton is not the only community feeling the impact. But it is, to this point, the community hardest hit. So let's begin our coverage there tonight with the stories emerging from Lytton itself. Susanna De Silva joins us not far from the village. And Susanna, what are you seeing there right now?
Well, it is extremely windy. These conditions were what helped spread that fire so quickly through that community almost 24 hours ago. Now, Lytton is just around the bend here on the highway where the checkpoint is now, where the highway is blocked off. We were actually set up there, and the gusts were simply too strong for our satellite truck to be there at that point. But what you could see were fires burning above the village still, helicopters trying to battle those blazes, another fire on a hillside next door. Volatile conditions that contributed to the almost complete destruction of that community.
The store.
As people fled for their lives, the fear was there would be nothing to return to. And the devastating images today show for many that is the reality. About 90% of the community.
A minute later, our neighbor came rushing up, and that's when we saw the smoke.
Elder and former Chief Byron Spinks had minutes to get out with his wife.
We just had a devastating experience last night, and the smoke was coming up, the heat, you could feel the heat.
They scrambled to find their dog, but had to leave her behind. She's been seen on social media posts, giving them hope.
We didn't see it go up, but it is within 100 feet of it.
When he did look back from his sister's home a couple of kilometers away, the plume grew dramatically. Then came hours of tense waiting to finally hear good news from his daughter and grandson. They're safe. For others, they're still waiting.
I haven't heard from my cousins, Daryl and Gail, Daryl Dunstan and Gail Johnny, and my uncle Alphonse.
Casey Johnny is desperate to hear from some of her family.
It's been tough, emotional, because a lot of people have lost their homes.
The RCMP is now going door to door to try and find those unaccounted for. Meanwhile, the nearby community of Boothroyd is training its members to fight if the fire comes their way.
So we're ready to protect our community in any way we can.
But for now, it's one step at a time.
I'm afraid to go back, but I want to go back at the same time just to witness the devastation and just to make us, I guess, acknowledge and the loss that we've had.
So, Suzanne, I know a lot of people obviously want to get back and see what their homes might look like. So many reasons for heading back into the fire zone. Any sign from officials of when that might happen?
Well, they say at least not for 48 or 24 hours, rather, that there are still spot fires burning within the community itself. Of course, fires burning around the community, so they say it is simply too dangerous. Meanwhile, family members are posting lists on social media of those who are safe, those who they are still looking for. An evacuation center has been set up in Merritt, and evacuees are being told to register there or to register online to ensure everyone is accounted for. Ian?
And we sure can see that wind in the Fraser Canyon. Thanks, Susie. As the flames closed in on Lytton, Gordon Murray and his partner raced out of town, and they captured their escape on video.
Oh my God, look at that. Jesus.
Our house is actually doing pretty well so far. Holy shit, that's hot.
They eventually made it through the flames and smoke to safety, and we spoke earlier about that harrowing drive.
We did come around a corner and have big flames shooting out on one side or the other, but fortunately never both sides at the same time.
Much more of our conversation a little later in the hour, including the moment that he knew they were in trouble. And officials are urging anyone impacted by the evacuation to register with the province to help officials find people who currently are missing and direct resources to where they're needed. And you can find it online at ess.gov.bc.ca. Well, CBC meteorologist Johanna Wagstaff was tracking the Lytton fire for us last night as it unfolded. And Johanna, put all of this in context for us.
Well, Ian, climate change certainly behind the unprecedented wildfire situation we're dealing with right now. But so early in the season, there's fears that this could be a setup to a devastating summer. Last night, though, that was the worst case scenario that forecasters feared.
The world was already watching Lytton. It is BC's and Canada's hottest spot, shattering national temperature records 3 days in a row, from 46.6 to 47.9 to 49.5. Combined with a record dry spring, this recent heat set the stage for the fires we're seeing now. It dried the forests, making them easier to engulf, and high winds created a kind of blowtorch. Lytton sits inside a canyon. As the heat dome shifted east, pressure differences caused high winds to race up the valley into the village, at least 71 kilometers per hour. Fast enough to see a fire coming, like the last image from the Lytton weather station camera. And fast enough to have to run away minutes later. Fast enough, too, to help the fire jump across the river. From space, you can see the heat signatures as the fire pushed north. And while it had helped to grow, the danger now is that this wildfire can help itself. Take a look at this. What you're seeing is a mix of storm clouds and smoke, but they can act the same way. Pyrocumulus clouds from wildfires can produce dry lightning and intense wind gusts, sparking new fires. And relief won't come as that heat dome continues east. It will open the door to more instability and intense thunderstorms.
And speaking of thunderstorms, we saw over 29,000 cloud-to-ground strikes yesterday, a literal firestorm setting off dozens of new wildfires yesterday, Ian.
So that was last night. Johanna, what are we seeing tonight?
More thunderstorms firing up right across the province. These are elevated and dry, fanning existing flames and certainly setting off new sparks in these hot and dry conditions. So, Ian, not over yet.
Okay, Joe, thank you.
You're welcome.
And about 3 hours from Lytton today, about 700 people got the urgent order to flee their homes at once. They live in Decca Lake, now threatened by a fire believed to have started from a lightning strike. BC is also dealing with dozens of fires and, believe it or not, floods as well. Katie Nicholson has been tracking all of these developments as the heat dome leaves its mark on BC. And Katie, what are you watching tonight?
You know, I'm watching the province's wildfire dashboard just to walk you through it. Yesterday, there were about 26 new fires that had sparked up over a 48-hour period. Today, that number is 75, and that has meant that hundreds have had to flee their communities.
Evacuation order, so.
Another night of rapidly moving fire, forcing hundreds from their homes. This fire near Decca Lake sparked up just today. So did this one 7 hours away in Castlegar.
The area around us is very dry, and today it's windy and it's not a cool breeze. It is a hot wind, and all of that is a recipe for disaster.
People here are watching the fire and packing their bags just in case.
Like literally a day or two after what we saw happen in Lytton, and feel for everybody in the communities there. It's just a very anxiety-ridden time.
These among the dozens of fires burning their way through forests and homes.
So unfortunately, it looks like our place has got zapped.
This was as close as Marshall Potts could get to his ranch near Kamloops.
It's all black. All the trees are gone. All the grass is black.
It's been a dangerous week. Around 300 deaths in BC linked to the brutal heat wave. And it's not just fires, it's floods. Soaring temperatures in the mountains created an unprecedented alpine melt and flood watches and warnings. In McBride, the Fraser River spilled its banks, allowing moose to wade through fields and forcing crews to shore up the walls of this sewage lagoon.
So they worked at that all night. And then about an hour ago, the water got high enough to where if they hadn't done the work, it would have been overtopping it.
All brought on by that merciless dome of heat. These dire days, so early in the season, experts say, could become the norm, as climate change means more of this more often.
If we continue on this path, then a few decades from now, we'll just call this summer. That's what summer will be. That's what summer will mean every summer. And so the choice is ours.
Katie, you covered a lot of ground there. Let's go back to McBride, British Columbia, and tell us a bit more about the double threat of fire and flood there.
Yeah, well, we heard from the mayor there, Mayor Runce, and his background is actually in forestry management. And he told me today he's actually just as, if not more, concerned about the fire threat in his region. So McBride, like many communities in BC right now, facing sort of a double-barreled threat, both flooding and fire.
All right. Thank you, Katie.
You're welcome.
The federal government says help is on the way for British Columbia.
And we have made available our helicopters and our tactical airlift to support that are currently being pre-positioned into the region.
Defense Minister Harjit Sajjan says he's working with the Minister of Public Safety, Bill Blair, and the BC government to ensure all federal resources are available. The Prime Minister will hold a meeting tomorrow to discuss the situation in the province. As the heat dome slowly creeps eastward, it's already scorching hot in neighboring provinces.
What brings you to the river today?
It's really hot and we need to stay cool, so.
When they got up in the morning, it was already 27 degrees in Edmonton, rising to at least 36. That explains the heat that is moving its way across Alberta and throughout Saskatchewan as well. The air there hanging thick and stifling for days. All of Manitoba also on alert. This Winnipeg cooling station has been trying to protect vulnerable people from the unrelenting swelter. And of course, Andrew, all of this happening on a day that traditionally people sit back and relax, but it's a lot different this year, and not just because of the fires.
Yeah, I mean, it's Canada Day after all, right? And across the country, you can almost feel people collectively working through how to balance commemoration with celebration. Let's start with the latter. Naturally, some CanCon for you there. A bit of the official federal Canada Day event called Lights on Canada Day, broadcast tonight. But even then, COVID kept the event virtual only. And like I said, while we did see some of the usual July 1st fanfare on display, it was also plain as day. As you could see from the flag at half-mast on the Peace Tower today, this July 1st was not a typical one. Instead of celebration, in many cities across Canada, there were marches, calls for reconciliation as the country grapples with the trauma inflicted on Indigenous peoples through forced attendance at residential schools. Travis Danrash takes us through it.
A day to mourn and remember. That's how 3 generations marching together viewed this Canada Day.
I was taken into a room with my mother.
68 years later, memories of residential school still haunt Marjorie Chakahiji Lee. She was just 8 years old in this photo.
They told me to wait there. They took my mother out of the room and I never saw her again till the summertime. I was terrified. I was so scared I didn't know what was happening.
Stories like Lee's were shared across the country, from Ottawa to Vancouver, Winnipeg, Toronto, and St. John's, a sea of orange instead of red on this Canada Day.
These children who were raped, murdered, and ignored, their voices cannot be muzzled.
The Prime Minister attempting to strike a mixed tone, recognizing many want to celebrate after more than a year of lockdowns, while acknowledging
a lot of Canadians, particularly Indigenous peoples, who don't feel like celebrating, who are living through continual traumas from having the grave sites discovered, but also living a present that is continually marked by intergenerational trauma.
For some, that trauma turned to anger. Police in several cities are investigating vandalism tonight. In Winnipeg, a statue of Queen Victoria and one of Queen Elizabeth in front of Manitoba's legislature torn down. And more Catholic churches have been targeted. Red paint was smeared on the front door of the Basilica Cathedral in St. John's. In Yellowknife, RCMP are investigating a suspicious fire. And Calgary's hate crime unit is involved after police say 10 churches were vandalized with paint overnight. But at the peaceful march in the nation's capital, Lee's granddaughter recognizes the push for justice is now her generation's battle.
My grandmother fought like hell for us, and she didn't even know we were going to exist. And I owe it now to my son and my future grandchildren to fight for them.
Hope, real change, real reconciliation is somewhere on the horizon beyond this July 1st. Travis Stanraj, CBC News, Ottawa.
And now to the pandemic. There are 2 words to sum up this day in Alberta. It's open. Today, the province dropped almost all of its remaining COVID-19 restrictions, including its provincial mask mandate. And as Carolyn Dunn explains, how this goes could set the bar for the rest of Canada.
Thanks to 73% who have been vaccinated today, Alberta is open for summer.
The province dropped virtually every public health restriction today. So many were out enjoying things they haven't done in a while.
So it's nice to be able to not have to do online shopping and just come out and hang out with some friends.
Because Calgary has more than half of the COVID cases in the province, as well as the most of the transmissible Delta variant, the city of Calgary chose to extend its mask bylaw until at least July 5th. So people in this city are still required to mask indoors.
Everyone no mask suddenly? I'm like, what? No, put it back on.
And I think that kind of easing into things will give us more time to see what's going to happen with transmission, because we're really kind of at the leading edge right now in terms of opening in Canada.
At this Edmonton restaurant, servers are choosing to wear masks for now. Their customers don't have to.
Arrest Sandro now! Arrest Sandro now!
At today's Canada Day event, though, a small group of protesters made it clear they're against any restrictions, verbally accosting Alberta Health Minister Tyler Shandro and his family for imposing public health measures in the first place. But for many, today is a relief, especially those whose businesses were turned upside down by the pandemic. Right now, wedding planner Jody McBeath is handling 36 weddings.
We have a lot that are just super excited, and they're jumping from 50 people to 350 people overnight.
For this Edmontonian, it's the little things you can now do without a mask.
I was excited to put lipstick on. I haven't done that in many months. It's one of my favorite things to do, so it was a nice feeling of trying to get back to normal.
Carolyn Dunn, CBC News, Calgary.
Now, 2 other provinces also took some steps today back to normal. British Columbia lifted its COVID state of emergency, which had been in place since March 2020, and it entered step 3 of its reopening.
It's a good step forward. The government has done very well. They've taken the whole pandemic. They've handled it very well.
Among the changes, businesses like banquet halls and casinos can reopen at reduced capacity, but there are also now no limits on personal gatherings indoors or out. Masks are no longer mandatory, but still recommended. As of today, Newfoundland and Labrador is officially open to visitors from all of Canada. Everyone must complete a travel form before entering the province, but those who are fully vaccinated can arrive without testing or isolating. And today, the European Union recommended that it start gradually lifting travel restrictions for Canadians. That would open the door to non-essential travel to the region, but it's up to individual countries to decide when to actually start accepting tourists. Well, U.S. President Joe Biden met with families of the missing in Surfside, Florida.
The hard part, the really hard part, is to not know whether they're surviving or not.
Next on The National, the touch-and-go search for survivors amidst concerns about the stability of what's left standing. A rare reunion of the princes on what would have been their mother's 60th birthday. The tributes to the people's princess.
Diana meant everything to everybody.
And later, racing to escape the flames in Lytton, BC.
Our house is actually doing pretty well so far. Holy shit, that's a lot.
We could actually hear the timbers exploding as we were driving along.
One man's harrowing first-hand account. We're back in 2.
Welcome back. The desperate search for survivors in Florida paused today because of worries that what is left of the condo tower in Miami is too unstable. It's been a week since it collapsed, and 145 people are still missing. Katie Simpson is on the ground where the U.S. president met with victims' families today.
The sense that hope is lost is starting to creep in. Loved ones of the missing were given space to grieve during visits to the growing memorial wall. There had been worry the remaining structure may collapse, so cranes and heavy equipment at the site stood still for most of the day. After a 14-hour pause, the search resumed. Engineers had once again deemed parts of the site safe.
We will continue to search feverishly, as we have done all along, in the parts of the collapse that we currently have access to. Given our ongoing safety concerns about the integrity of the building, we're continuing to restrict access to the collapse zone.
President Joe Biden and his wife spent a few moments at the memorial as part of their visit to Surfside.
Well, thank you, Mr. President.
After getting an in-person briefing offering additional federal resources.
So I'm just going to say thanks and listen and find out what I can do as president, what I can unleash in terms of help. for whatever you need. What's your name?
He thanked first responders and spent about 3 hours comforting the families, relating to them through his own experiences with loss.
You know, they're realistic. It just brought back so many memories. It's bad enough. It's bad enough to lose somebody. But the hard part, the really hard part, is to not know whether they're surviving or not. Just not have any idea.
Making the situation even more difficult, local officials are now tracking a tropical storm that could make landfall in South Florida as early as Monday. The mayor of Surfside acknowledges this is yet another massive challenge for this operation.
We've got everything we need. We just need to get a break. We need a break. We need many breaks. And we're praying for that.
Okay, so Katie, what else are the authorities saying about that remaining structure?
The mayor says the building behind me, what's left of the condo complex, it has to be demolished, and they plan on doing it while this search operation is still underway. This remains a rescue mission, even though, Andrew, I have to say it really seems like the tone here has changed today, and those local officials who are leading this effort, they seem to have far less optimism than they had in days past.
All right, Katie Simpson in Surfside, Florida. Thanks. Well, criminal charges were filed in the U.S. today against a high-profile exec at the Trump Organization. Donald Trump's company is accused of orchestrating a sweeping tax fraud scheme. Chris Reyes now on what it could mean for the Trump family.
Alan Weiselberg walked into a Manhattan courtroom in handcuffs this morning to face multiple tax fraud charges. Hours later, after pleading not guilty and turning over his passport, he walked out without having to pay bail. The long-serving CFO for the Trump Organization is accused of scheming for years to avoid taxes on $1.7 million worth of income in the form of perks that included rent-free apartments and leased luxury cars. He's also charged with falsifying business records. Trump Organization lawyers called the charges politically motivated.
In 244 years, we have not had a local prosecutor go after a former president of the United States or his employees or his company. And that is a significant line to cross.
The charges against Weiselberg are the first from a 2-year probe into the former president's business practices, led by 2 New York prosecutors who are both Democrats. Trump has repeatedly called it a witch hunt. But a former executive at Trump's company says the CFO couldn't have acted alone.
Nobody does anything major without Trump's knowledge and usually approval.
You feel pressure from Mr. Trump?
And with charges involving actions over 15 years, experts say the implications are far more serious.
There's a difference between sort of negligent or mismanaged behavior and an intent to circumvent and deceive state and federal law.
Donald Trump was not named in the case, but some legal experts say that Weiselberg is likely being pressured to turn on his longtime boss. The 73-year-old could face decades in prison if convicted on all charges. Chris Reyes, CBC News, New York.
Next, one man's escape from Lytton, BC as the flames closed in.
Oh my God, look at that. Jesus.
Our house is actually doing pretty well so far. Holy shit, that's hot.
We'll speak with the man behind this harrowing video.
We could actually hear the timbers exploding as we were driving. It was like being in a movie.
From the moment he knew it was time to run to the danger they came face to face with on the road, a first-hand account is next.
Lytton has been devastated, and it will take an extraordinary amount of effort to get that historic location back to what it was, and we're all in.
Words of resolve today from BC's Premier as we got our first look at the damage in Lytton. The community left in ashes after fire ripped through it in minutes yesterday. The flames boosted by days of scorching heat. And tonight, some families still trying to get in touch with loved ones scattered in the evacuation. As many as 1,000 people were forced to flee as fire closed in, and for them, it was quite simply a race against time. Take a look at this extraordinary video.
Oh my God, look at that. Jesus.
Our house is actually doing pretty well so far. Holy shit, that's hot.
Gordon Murray, his partner, and their pets were among those who escaped. They recorded their terrifying drive out. They are now safe, staying with family here in Vancouver. And I asked Gordon about the moment he knew he needed to leave Lytton.
The cell service quit because we were trying to check, to see if there were any emergency orders or any information about what was happening, because we could see there was a lot of smoke, but we couldn't find anything. But then the cell service died and the power went out, and we knew that it was serious. So that's when we just gathered everything as quickly as we could, got to the car, got our cat and a dog, and because we had to leave so fast, we couldn't find one of the cats. We had to leave her behind, which is very hard. But then we just got in the car and had to figure out where to go because there was no information. And so we tried to go to where the smoke was thinnest, but it was only thin for a while, and then there were flames all around. It was unbelievable. Where our house was, there weren't flames everywhere. There was smoke everywhere. And so we only realized how bad it was when we got down to that road and started driving up it and saw those houses just like literally, we could actually hear the timbers exploding as we were driving along, and the poles, I think the poles were exploding. It was like being in a movie. It's hard to express how shocking it was.
Oh my God.
And the Jade's gone.
In some of the video, you're on the Trans-Canada Highway, and I'm looking at your view, and I can't tell sometimes like what's ahead in the road. That must have been scary too.
Well, yes, that was definitely one of the most difficult parts, not knowing whether we were gonna, we did come around a corner and have big flames shooting out on one side or the other, but fortunately never both sides at the same time that would actually, stop us. But it was very touch and go, and it could have, and we heard from people that whole area that we drove through just became one massive fire. In fact, it created a huge ash cloud that actually floated across the Thompson River and started a fire on the other side.
Wow.
Because the flames were so intense right in that area that we had just driven through. We finally saw a little bit of sky beyond the smoke, and we realized that we were going in the right direction, or a direction anyway, that was going to get us out of it.
And all of this chaotic, and you didn't really have a plan other than just get out.
Yeah, no, we didn't have a plan. We didn't have any information. That's the other thing, is that there was nobody had, although there was an order to evacuate, it had happened almost an hour before we left. We didn't know anything about it. We didn't know where to go. And as we drove further, people would say, oh, well, there's something over there, you can go and check. And there would be nobody there, they wouldn't have power. So I just wanted to say that it's really kind of a microcosm of, not to put too fine a point in it, but climate change. Because we are, it's a small, rural, indigenous, low-income community, and we're at the spear point of climate change, but it's coming for everybody. We're the canary in the coal mine. We had the heat and the chaos, but we weren't prepared. And I don't believe that society is prepared in the same kind of way. And so we have to, as a society, work together to get ready and to make changes now. Because as we discovered, if you are scrambling at the last minute, you leave people behind.
scrambling at the last minute to the extent that you literally left with the clothes you have on right now. This is what you were wearing yesterday. You're with friends, presumably, in Vancouver?
Yes, family.
What's next for you?
Well, we don't know. When we left, our house was still standing, but we have no idea what is there now. And so it's just not even one day at a time. It's 1 hour at a time. We hope to be able to go back and find out what happened there, but the pictures that have been in the media are not encouraging. It's like apocalyptic scenes of whole blocks just not even being flattened, but being just disappearing in the flames. So it is hard to know how to keep going, but you just have to.
And even if your house is still standing, we know a lot of the structures in Lytton were burned down. It is a small village. I've been through it before, tiny. If your house is still there, will you go back there and live? Nothing's for certain, but I feel that I like to feel that we would. I mean, it's a much larger community. It's a very small, Lytton itself is very small, but as I said, the area is 80% Indigenous, and there's a lot of small communities all around, many of whom have also been burned down and been affected by this and been affected by climate change. But there is still a very strong sense of community there that we cherish and that we want to continue to be involved with. All right. Well, Gordon, thank you for speaking with us, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you for having me.
So he came southward. Many of the people who escaped the fire went in the other direction to the community of Lillooet. That's about an hour's drive north of Lytton. The town of 2000 is now the temporary home to nearly 200 people who were forced to flee. And earlier today, the mayor of Lillooet spoke with CBC News about what it was like as those evacuees started to arrive.
About 6:30, 7 o'clock, our EOC rallied at our recreational center, and as the evacuees were arriving from Lytton, we're about 63 kilometers north. We've registered as of early this morning over 185. There are a lot of families, relatives, and friends from the Lytton area up here in our area. Our hearts go out to them. It's devastating. We have our rec center gymnasium, which is our registration, and that's full of food, clothing, all kinds of personal items that are required because many of the people had to rush, and some even without their shoes, believe it or not. I'm really proud and pleased of our businesses, all of which have opened, our pharmacies and the like, and also individual residents coming and rushing down with all kinds of food and the like. We've got our gymnasium set up, but we also have the arena set up with about 80 cots. Many, because of the heat, are sleeping outside and enjoying it. Last night, in checking with a number of them, enjoying the sleep, mind you, but not so much, obviously, why they're here. And our campground is open, and we have many of the firefighters from the McKay Creek also staying at our campground. So they're also at some of our First Nation band locations, and we're just working hard to get all the registrations up to date so that we can account for everybody. It's emotional, it's devastating, and it is. And we're here for them. I'm proud of our staff and our council and all our residents and everyone that has helped out. It's made it so much easier, as difficult as the situation is. And we're here to support all the people of Lytton, the town, and the local First Nations surrounding it.
And a reminder that officials are urging anyone affected by the evacuation order to register with the province. That will help officials find people who are currently missing and direct resources to where they're needed. And you can find it online here, ess.gov.bc.ca.
And up next on The National, coming to Canada in a trying time.
Just like any newcomer, I had a cultural shock.
How the pandemic made adjusting to a new life in this country more difficult. Welcome back. Canada Day is often a day for newcomers to this country to celebrate their new home. But this year, COVID has drastically reduced their ranks and made adjusting to life here that much harder. Magda Gabrasalasa has the story of a more difficult first year.
Olivia McIntosh has spent much of the last year online. She came to Canada from Jamaica to join family here in February of 2020.
Just like any newcomer, I had a cultural shock. And then, coping through that, and the pandemic came. At first, you shut down.
COVID restrictions meant she couldn't get to know her new city, and all her classes moved online. So did her support group for newcomers.
I think it would be really amazing if we could see each other in person. Sometimes when I hear their stories and we cry, we can't give that person a hug.
Just like anyone else in Canada, COVID-19 has impacted immigrants, their wellness, their employment, their income, but more so for immigrants.
In the depths of the pandemic, that Queen's University researcher sent a survey to newcomers across the country. More than 2,000 responded, and preliminary results show insecurity with housing, jobs, and food are all too common.
So many of them, about more than 50% of participants mentioned that they are eating less or they skip meals because they are worried about money.
Worries that may be getting in the way of immigration. According to the government, about 42,000 people who were approved to be permanent residents as of March of last year have yet to arrive. Hamza Khan recently connected with someone in that position.
Somebody had a job offer, lost the job offer in the early days of the pandemic, and was again stuck in this lurch where they were coming to Canada but had no employment source.
He runs the Canadian Newcomers Network and points people to online and offline resources that can help.
The government is offering alternative services that are accessible by phone, for instance, in different languages. You have TV channels, you have YouTube channels that speak to you in your respective language.
Olivia McIntosh took advantage of online supports and made the most of the past year.
I was like, okay, I can utilize my time. So that's why I enrolled in every little thing that suit me.
Still, she's looking forward to the day that she can go offline to see the sights and meet new friends. Magda Gabrasalasa, CBC News, Ajax, Ontario.
Well, next on The National, Princes William and Harry reunite to remember their mother. Tributes to Princess Diana on what would have been her 60th birthday, right after the break.
Experience Tokyo 2020 like never before. Catch live streams, watch amazing highlights, go in-depth with athlete features, and tons more. Dive in and don't miss the action. cbc.ca/Tokyo 2020.
I'm Jamie Poisson. Join me for CBC's daily news podcast, Front Burner. Every weekday, Front Burner takes you deep into the stories shaping Canada and the world. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back. Today would have been Princess Diana's 60th birthday, and to mark it, a statue was unveiled in her honor. But what had the eye of many today was that her sons, princes in the midst of a royal rift, were both on hand for the moment. Here's Salima Shivji.
An unveiling several years in the making that's brought two brothers together at a trying time. This is how Princes William and Harry want their mother remembered, surrounded by children full of love, just as they remember her.
For all that the princess was a very public figure, that she was somebody's mother. I paid the greatest heed to both princes and what they had to say.
The ceremony was subdued. No speeches in the palace garden she loved so much. The spotlight squarely on Diana, when most are scrutinizing what's going on between her two sons.
You forgot your boots.
Once so close, their relationship now decidedly tense after Harry and Meghan's explosive interview accusing the royals of racism.
There are plenty of smiles as they were arriving together, walking in. The images from that will be quite powerful in, I think, trying to overturn the public image of the brothers, which has been divided for so long.
That strain to keep the focus on Diana and off the strained relationship is clear. For the brothers, today is about the statue that was always meant to be a way to reflect on Diana's legacy, much like another exhibition also here at Kensington Palace. The centerpiece on loan from her sons, Diana's wedding dress, the stuff of fairy tales. Broadcast all over the world 40 years ago. But for the curator, it's another dress that fully embodies what the princess was all about.
Which she called her caring dress. She wore it time and time again, so much so that the press told her to stop wearing it. She wasn't going to have any of that, because she knew that children responded to those bright colours.
That legacy evident in the outpouring of love for Diana at each birthday.
Diana meant everything to everybody.
And everything to her sons, who did all they could to make today all about her. Salima Shivji, CBC News, London.
Well, next on The National, marking Canada Day with hope. From coast to coast, what people across this country hope for after a difficult year.
This free app brings you the news you want, local and international. Easy to use and easy to set the way you like. Get the free CBC News app today.
Well, there is no denying it has been a difficult year. Canadians have faced a global pandemic, a reckoning with racism, violent, hate-fueled attacks. You would be forgiven if you felt the news was just one bad headline after another. But tonight, on this Canada Day, we make room for hope. Meet Canadians from coast to coast and hear what they hope for in the year to come.
I hope that Canada gets a lot of vaccines and that so schools are safer in September.
What I'd like for Canada is a bright and prosperous post-pandemic future.
We need to figure out how we're going to make this country a better place to live in for everybody.
My hope for Canada would be to have a safe place for my kid to grow with equal opportunities provided to people of all color.
I hope that we can understand more about our history so that we can learn from the mistakes that we've made and use this knowledge to create a better future for ourselves.
That we roll up our sleeves for vaccines. That we listen and make amends so badly needed.
My hope for a better Canada is that we continue to welcome people.
And my hope for a better Canada is that we help those people grow and prosper.
A Canada who puts leaders in place who truly care about issues like climate change and Indigenous issues. The time for change is now.
You know, Andrew, we had our Canada Day special programming earlier today, and a lot of those tough issues you talked about are issues people also made reference to. But one theme that came up over and over again, people saying you can't change the past, but maybe you can change the future. And of course, inherent in that is hope.
Yeah, of course. And I should say, I mean, on every relevant front, both those that we have spoken about tonight and over the last, 12 months, there's a lot of work to do, so we had best collectively get started. That's The National for this July 1st. Have a great night.
Good night.